And this is when Brazil really should have stepped on the gas. First off, it is a 5-on-4 in favor of Argentina. If Brazil squeeze up here and cut off the passing lanes, they have a chance to win this ball back. So Vini Jr. needs to cut off the ball to Emi Martinez. But Vini's press is so bad that Romero can just play the ball back to Martinez. And now Argentina are completely calm and they can reset their possession. No Messi, no problem. Argentina thrashed Brazil 4-1 and it gets the Brazilian manager sacked. That's right, Dorival Jr. has been shown the door after that pathetic performance. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what happened in this game. Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at how both teams were set up, why it benefited Argentina so much, and how they were able to exploit it. We'll take a look at the goals, and then highlight the player for Argentina who just ran riot and had a field day. All right, so let's get started. Argentina happy. They're going back to the World Cup with Scaloni in charge. They're going to try and do a repeat, and they look pretty good. And I like some of the tactical things they did, but also Brazil just made this so easy for them. So what we can see here is Paredes with the ball. He is one of the holding midfielders. He would drop into the back line a lot, and that would allow Otamendi and Romero, the two center backs, to sort of split wider. It would also give Molina and Tagliafico, the fullbacks, the ability to step higher and wider, and they were open all game long. Now, you would think if Brazil are leaving the wide areas open that they would have the middle somehow locked up. Well, take a look at their setup. They've got three guys in their front line, Vini, Cunha, and Rafinha, and then the midfield was Rodrigo as the sort of left midfield, and then Andre and Joelinton as the double pivots. So who's covering the right side? The answer was absolutely nobody, and nobody marked DePaul either. So here he is just standing in the middle of this big circle of Brazilian players, able to receive the ball and turn. And as he looks up, he always had an outlet. It was out to the wide areas. Easy switch out to Tagliafico. Now look at Brazil's back line. They're just running away, and they're very, very narrow, which meant that no one was actually going out and engaging the fullbacks for Argentina. And Argentina just had such ease at keeping the ball. They either had midfielders open in the center of the park, like DePaul here receiving the ball and able to bounce it back to Paredes, or they would be able to go wide like Paredes does here to get Molina the ball. And once again, what did Brazil do? Instead of engaging and putting any kind of pressure on Argentine players, they would just run away and back off. And that meant that there would be even more space in the midfield for DePaul or Paredes to go ahead and just pick it up, combine, run off the back of people, and if they didn't have an option, then they would just switch the play to the other side. Once again, Paredes picking the ball up in the back line and able to just do what he wanted. And look at the Brazilian players. They're so narrow that there is no way that they're going to cover any ball to the wide area. So DePaul here shifts out wide, Rodrigo follows him, and who is up at right wing for Argentina? The fullback Molina. And Argentina did this all game long. And they would actually score very early. Julian Alvarez getting the goal in the second minute. And the thing about this goal, it goes to show you just the way that Brazil dropped off and did not contest for balls. So DePaul gets this ball, and what you're going to see is Tagliafico and Almada make the exact same run right here. And instead of anyone for Brazil challenging, they just back off. So check this ball out. The two make the run, out it goes. Wendell, you need to challenge for this. Instead, Tagliafico nods it down to Almada. He spins Marquinhos, and Julian Alvarez makes the run through. Now, this is extremely fortunate that this ends up as a goal because Guilherme makes the tackle here. It bounces off Murillo's knee and fortunately right in front of Alvarez for him to toe poke it in. And that's 1-0 for Argentina. But after that, the control they had of this game was just so commanding. There was nothing Brazil seemed to be able to do. And this is the second goal, which is, I don't know, something like 34, 36 passes. Paredes with the ball here, connects into Enzo, into Otamendi, and you can just see the shape for Brazil. Super narrow, which means what? It means the wide areas are completely open. So the ball goes out to Romero, plays it into DePaul, gets a little bit of pressure, but he goes right back to Paredes. This was such an issue for Brazil. They did not know what to do. Should we press the center midfielder or not? Well, a lot of the time they didn't. Vini Jr. is not going to press. Cunha is going to try, and so is Rafinha, but look how narrow they are. You can just go around them so easily. The other problem for Brazil is look at their back four. It's flat, and their fullbacks would stay that way. They never pressed up. So that means that Tagliafico way on the left-hand side and Enzo Fernandez in that half space are open. And when the ball comes into Fernandez here, he's able to just turn Wendell should have been a lot closer to him to make sure that he couldn't turn. So Enzo brings the ball forward, and again, Brazil are just backing off and getting behind the ball, which is fine for Argentina. And it comes to Otamendi, he plays Romero, and this is the moment for Brazil where they should have pressed up and tried to force Argentina into a turnover, because Argentina started to get lazy. I say to the players I coach, they're the 4 B's of pressing. The first one is the combination of a bad pass or bad touch. The second is that the players have their backs to the field, a backwards pass, and a bouncing ball. And we're going to see all 4 of those in the space of a few seconds here. So obviously first, it's a backwards pass. Then you're going to get your bad touch. Emi Martinez lets the ball go under his foot. Now you're going to have a player with his back to the field. Otamendi's running back to get the ball. And then you're going to get your bouncing ball. So you get the combo package here. Romero back to the field. The ball is bouncing. He has to chest it and it goes up in the air. And this is when Brazil really should have stepped on the gas. First off, it is a 5-on-4 in favor of Argentina. If Brazil squeeze up here and cut off the passing lanes, they have a chance to win this ball back. So Vini Jr. needs to cut off the ball to Emi Martinez. But Vini's press is so bad that Romero can just play the ball back. And now Argentina are completely calm and they can reset their possession. And it's too easy to do it. I mean, take a look at the amount of players they have. It's a 9-on-7 here in favor of Argentina. Brazil are not going to get this ball. And so Argentina just kind of combine out here and just play out of it. And now they have their shape that they want and they're able to play into DePaul. I don't know why Joelinton here, he just backs away instead of going and pressing right into him. You know where the ball's going. Don't let him get it and turn. Cunha tries to apply pressure. Rodrigo's nowhere near, so even that big touch by DePaul is not punished. He's able to get it out of his feet to Paredes, and now Argentina can start to surge forward. Enzo Fernandez in that half space, able to receive the ball. Wendell miles off him and now backing up. And watch this. Enzo Fernandez receives the ball on the halfway line. Look how far he goes uncontested. He is able to drive all the way into the Brazilian penalty area without anyone even trying to stop him. He's got Tagliafico making the overlap on the side. Instead, he goes into Julian Alvarez, who drops it to DePaul. And look at how tight Brazil are. And when you leave giant spaces open, it's easy for the opponents to just find the right pass. Molina charging forward, DePaul plays it to him, and Molina hits the one-touch ball across. No one's even paying attention to Enzo Fernandez, and he gets a simple tap in, and it's 2-0. Now, Brazil would get a lifeline through Matheus Cunha scoring a goal, and it was the only thing Brazil really did well in the game, and it actually comes from Argentina being absurdly lazy. Because it was so easy, Romero here just decides to dawdle. He's gonna walk forward with the ball a little bit, and Cunha decides, okay, I gotta do something. We're losing 2-0. I gotta start running at the guy. And look at Romero, just completely out to lunch. I mean, he just seems to think everything's in slow-mo, which Brazil were, but Cunha strips him, gets the ball, and is able to shoot and score and make it 2-1. But that is all Dorival Jr. really got to enjoy in the game. That was the only real highlight for Brazil, and it must have been driving him nuts how easy it was for Argentina to get around. Just take a look once again here at the pressing from Brazil and the marking in the midfield. It's two things at the same time. As this ball goes into Paredes, Vini Jr. is just kind of standing, walking. Now what Vini Jr. should do is cut the ball to Romero and at least just start to apply some kind of pressure on Paredes. Make it more obvious where he's going to go. Instead, he's just standing there. Cunha steps up a little bit. He's trying to cut the ball out to Otamendi, but Paredes just walks by him, and look at the marking in the midfield from Brazil. There's a line of 4 of them, and none of them are picking anyone up. I mean, this is just too easy, and the ball goes from Paredes to Almada, and he's able to run forward. So if you're Dorival Jr. at this point, you're going, guys, what are you doing? And I know a lot of blame has to go to him for the tactics, but some of the players, I mean, look at this. This is a throw-in for Argentina. Look at Wendell. Why is he in front of Alvarez? Dude, get goal side and you can challenge for this ball and maybe win it instead of having to turn around and watch the guy win the flick header. Then you've got Murillo not close enough to McAllister, so he's able to just bring it down, look up, and look at the far side. Enzo Fernandez and Rodrigo DePaul creating an overload, and so Argentina are able to get into the box. But here's the thing, DePaul had a field day. Rodrigo DePaul was running around all over the place and having the time of his life because he was just open all game. Here he is receiving the ball, not a single Brazilian player close to him, they're just strolling, so he's able to look up and do a nice little switch out to Tagliafico. He keeps his run going. Watch, now he's in the center circle. How is the holding midfielder in the center circle that open? Like, I don't know what Brazil were hoping to do in this game. I mean, there's no way they were ever going to get the ball. So as Martinez gets it here, oh, there's an obvious option, go into DePaul. So he looks up, plays to Romero, and now the ball can go out to Molina. Once again, you got Enzo Fernandez checking in, nobody marking him. So as the ball goes into DePaul, he finds the split to Fernandez. It comes back to DePaul. He chips it out to Molina and gets lightly fouled. I mean, that was very, very soft, but it leads to a free kick, which leads to the 4th goal for Giovanni Simeone. Now, take a look at Brazil here. All of them staring at the ball, no one's paying attention, and Tagliafico, who has been open the entire game, is making a run off the back, and watch the Brazilian players. Not a single one of them see him going until the ball gets hit. And that from Rodrigo de Paul is like the easiest pass. He doesn't really even have to go over the Brazilian backline. He just goes right through it. Tagliafico squares it across behind McAllister, and so Brazil now have an opportunity to clear. Marquinhos and Guilherme are running towards the ball, and Guilherme for some reason slows down, which just gives a gift to Simeone. He accepts it, smashes it off the bar and in, and Argentina win 4-1. And as I said, no Messi, no problem. Gotta get me one of those. That thing is great. So yeah, Brazil were pretty terrible, but now that Brazil have made a coaching change, will they hire someone that puts them in a structure that makes sense? We know this Brazilian team is not as talented as a lot of the ones in the past, but do me a favor, they absolutely should be able to put up a better fight than that. So I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football. Take it easy.